To get the best kind of fat, diet's the best way, I would imagine. Is that correct? I mean, most people agree.
Well, I think if you're talking about health and nutrition, diet is the platform for everything. Supplementation, I think, is good. It's like icing on the cake, so to speak, but it won't work without a great diet. And I think the best way to get these fats are in the natural foods that they come from.
Can you talk about supplementation a little bit more? Some of us who live in the middle part of the country, the Midwest, where fish either isn't as accessible or maybe farm raised. Is supplementation a good option for some people, or should it always be, like you said, just another option?
Well, I think if you get, for example, fish oil, fish body oil from fish, that's probably the best way to get it. However, there is some niggling concern in my mind anyway, and I think in a number of other people's mind, and that has to do with fish being, especially bigger fish, being at the upper end of the food chain. And what I mean by that is that big fish eat smaller fish, which eat smaller fish, and so forth down the line. And what that means is that any heavy metals or pesticides that go into a smaller fish are concentrated in the larger fish, such as salmon and tuna. And if we consume a lot of fish, heavy metal toxicity in our body is a concern. So under those circumstances, if you supplement the long-chain omega-3 fatty acids that occur in fish using a soft gel, that is, I think, a viable alternative. But they need to be made by a reputable company, because you don't want fats that have been overheated or contaminated with chemicals.
How much of a concern is the heavy metals, the mercuries and stuff? We hear a lot of caution about that when you're eating fish. How much of a concern should that be when we talk about our overall diet?
Well, I think heavy metals, for example, get concentrated in fat tissue. Okay, so if you do a fat biopsy of your leg or your abdomen, you can see heavy metals. That is not good, but your brain is mostly fat. Heavy metals can accumulate in the brain, and once there, they stay for a long period of time, and they can gum up many of the metabolic pathways that are key for vital brain function. They also can have an effect on birth defects. So I think there is no safe level of heavy metal intake, and that, in my opinion, is still an open question, but it's a concern.